It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Okay, welcome in. It is a Friday Patrick Johnson Show here on 94.3 The Game as we make our adjustments. Always something going on. Always. Let's say hello to Philip the Ref Pilkington. He'll have a 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report coming on. Pilk, hope you're well. Check your text. And let's go now to our first guest, old friend. Haven't talked to him in quite a bit. It's been a minute. Chris Hughes, Carolina Preps, also a contributor to the N&O and Charlotte Observer as well. He joins us here on this final Friday of the high school football season. Chris, it's hard to believe high school football is already wrapping up the regular year. Great to talk to you, by the way. I hope you're well, buddy.
Well, I'm doing great, Patrick, and I appreciate you having me on as always. And you're right, it's been a minute. I can't believe you've waited to the last week of the season to bring me on. But it's always good to talk high school sports or anything, politics, barbecue, you name it. We'll do it. Always good to be on your radio show.
You can do it. You're capable. So the great Chris Hughes, founder of Carolina Preps, is with us here. What is the overall theme of this regular season? What has it been? What would you say, be it a rule change, be it a specific team, be it a specific region, specific player? What's the story of the 23 regular season?
You know, that's a question I've not thought about. I'm going to have to sit here and ponder over that for a moment. I think the overwhelming theme has kind of just been, the uncertainty within the North Carolina legislature and the future uncertainty regarding to the NCHSAA and, what's it going to look like moving forward. Now, of course, we've got a status quo year this year. I mean, we're going to have our championships at college venues as always, and we kind of know what we have. But I do think that there has been, the one constant that seems to get my inbox going or my text messages or the phone calls has been the questions, regarding the state association, Q Tucker and the General Assembly and all that.
When you say it'll be a status quo year and Chapel Hill and Raleigh will be hosting championships at UNC and NC State respectively, is it as soon as next year that could not be happening?
It's $1 million question. I have heard next year. I've heard 25. I'm not really sure, and that's embarrassing for me to say. But there's just been so much conjecture and just really unknown out there for any of us to really know exactly when that takes place. So I'm not sure. But, and I'll go on record. The one thing I do know, could there have been changes? Could there have been some oversight? Of course. I think it's always good to have some checks and balances within the governing of anything, whether it's our country or any business or whatever the case. But I still firmly believe the NCHSAA should be the ones running the show. And, without them having the ability to do what they do, I think we're going to start seeing championships at high schools very soon. And I think that's a enormous step back for high school sports in our state.
Why would that be? I mean, maybe it's more opinion, but to me, that is a part of it that, these are public institutions. We're all under the same umbrella in a sense, as far as taxpayers paying for these facilities in some way, shape, or form. So I don't get, to me, it seems like the move would be, let's take the basketball regionals and put them back in some kind of college setting to accommodate crowds. I don't understand this step back because that was a big point of contention among membership.
Yeah, but that we already got a taste a couple years ago of some baseball championships and some basketball regionals at different high schools, and it just did not work very well. The types of crowds, the types of media that swarm upon these events, everything, the hoopla, the pageantry, the excitement, the parking, it's a big deal to host these games. And I think that you put them back on the campus. And I'm old enough to remember when high school state championship games were played at a campus, and it was overwhelming for that school. I just don't think that that's the best for the fans. I don't think it's the best for the students and athletes. These players, most of them, I would say 90 some odd percent, will never step foot on a college campus again to play a game. And for them, whether it's in basketball or football or baseball or some other sport, to have an opportunity to play in front of a huge stadium, a collegiate field, under the lights, the TV, the whole 9 yards, I just think that that's such an awesome thing, and I hope that is not going to be missed.
The founder of Carolina Preps, Chris Hughes, joining us here. So, again, I guess where I'm trying to figure out here, Chris, and again, I don't know if this is known to anybody yet, but why would the state not want these games, championship games, to be played on those campuses? It seems to me, again, that it would only make sense, but because
the schools, the state universities are not going to just give the campuses rent-free to anyone to use for championship venues. We've got everything from parking to facilities to the labor, the police officers, the EMT, all of the different cottage industries that come together to make these go on. So, the state universities are not going to just give them away. And we've already seen the restrictions in the literature of the state association not being able to go out and raise money anymore. And that monies that they raised was just for these events. I know for a fact that these events, is in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, almost in the $1 million range to put on for the year. And with the state association unable to go out and seek corporate sponsors, which is far and away what paid for a lot of these events, I just think that it's going to be a big loss for our student athletes.
So why do lawmakers not want them to have the ability to go get sponsorship dollars for these events? Are they saying that with that endowment that should be paying for the championship events? Is that what the thinking is?
I don't know. That's a good question, Patrick. And I think that there is some anger, some frustration, maybe some jealousy. Wishing that they could get their hands on the money. I'm not really sure what it is, but you got to think of when the great late Charlie Adams, when he built the endowment back in 1993 when it was started, it was written in such a way that it very infinitely controlled what that money could be used for, how it could be used, and you just couldn't go out and just take that money to go pay something else. It's just not the way it was written. So they're not allowed to use that just for operational expenses and things like that. That money is money that has been given back to the schools, so they can't use that for operational expenses for the association.
Chris Hughes, CarolinaPreps.com, a contributor to the News and Observer and the Charlotte Observer, is with us here. If Hugh Tucker retired, would a lot of this headache or potential headache go away?
That's a loaded question. And I would say that, Patrick,
I saved it for the best for last in the high school regular season, Chris, so you knew I was going to pepper you.
I think the world of Hugh Tucker. I think that the years and decades of service that she has given back to the boys and girls and the high schools and the communities of the state is unmatched. What she's done and the impact that she has had, whether it's women's sports, Title IX, whether her basketball coaching career at NC State,
right,
and then since I think 1992 when she moved on to the NCHSAA, what she's been able to do is phenomenal, and I think the world of her. With that being said, are there some individuals out there, especially in the state legislature, that I feel has made a personal attack at her? Sure, I do. I hate that it's come to that, and I hate to admit that, but sure, I do think that she has been ground zero or the target for several lawmakers, and that's very unfortunate. And it's unfortunate because the state, and when I say the state, the boys and girls, the students, the coaches, the teachers, the educators, everybody involved, they're suffering because of this. I do believe that there are probably some personal vendettas within our state legislature that are going after Q, and had Q maybe stepped aside and resigned, a lot of this probably wouldn't happen. But I also applaud her and understand her reasoning for fighting and digging in and doing what she feels right. And I don't always have the same agreements with her. I might be of a different stance in some things and versus the other, but nonetheless, she has been steadfast in her doing things by the book, and by the book is probably the one thing I would say that she is to a T, just like Charlie Adams was. She follows the rules. When there's adjudication of a rule that goes out, she follows it by the book. There's no leeway whatsoever. But I think that hard, stone cold governance with no leeway is probably why a lot of people just don't like her sometimes.
Well, Chris, I think that's a very nice way of saying Charlie Adams ruled this thing with a iron fist. And I experienced that firsthand. I'm sure you did. Other people I've talked to experienced that firsthand. So Q learned kind of at Charlie's knee, if you will. And when it eventually became her turn, she was going to run it like Charlie Adams did. That might have been fine in the 1980s or 1990s, but I don't know if it's a realistic way to go about running things in, the aughts and the 20-teens and the 2020s.
Yeah,
I
understand.
I could be wrong.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
It's a different world, but I'll say this. Us saying that she runs like Charlie Adams, that's a compliment to her, and I'm going to give that compliment to her every day because I've been in board meetings with her. I've seen her interact behind closed doors in public. Q Tucker to me is the same Q Tucker you get every day. That is one thing about her. She doesn't change her colors and operate one way in public and another way in closed doors. I think she is who she is, and I think you got to applaud her for that.
I do think she's gotten a little bit of a bad rap with this, in all honesty, if I'm being truthful. Yeah.
Agreed.
And so where does this ultimately go in your mind, Chris? This whole – does the association dissolve as it is and another one is created and everybody that's currently there is sort of wiped out and new people are hot? How does all this sort of play out over the next several years?
I wish I had a crystal ball and could give you the answer to that, Patrick. I really do. Unfortunately, I just don't know that I have that answer. In some form or the other, I guess the State Board of Education, the DPI, they're going to have their hands heavily involved in running this. To what degree of oversight the state legislature gets involved, I'm not really sure. But some way, shape, or form, you're going to see some changes. I wish I could tell you what those are going to be, Patrick, but here on October 27th, I just don't know the answer.
Chris, as far as I think we all agree that there are some things that needed to be changed with the association, that we're not going to go in any direction without some nudging. Now, this is more like a shove than a nudge, but I think somewhere there has to be a happy medium in this. And I don't know if I just don't know where that's going to come from because, as you say, there's some axes being grinded right now. Tucker's dug in, and I like Commissioner Tucker, but I think she's dug in on some things. And I just wonder at this point, are the adults really looking out for the best interest of the kids on both sides? They say they do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Patrick. And I think there could be a happy medium. The NCHSAA, it's been going on for 110 years, since 1913, 1914. They absolutely need to be the ones governing high school athletics in our state. So that's my one constant. They need to be the ones running it. Could there be, a subcommittee within our legislature that operates as a checks and balances, that, audits the books or whatever? Sure, I have no problem whatsoever with some sort of oversight when it comes to the state government. But should the state legislature, should, Congressman so-and-so from whatever district get involved because his team was deemed ineligible or because his team got put in a really bad conference when realignment came to be? Those are the kind of things that I think does not need to happen. I think for far and away, the NCHSAA has been unbiased and very by the book when it comes to issues like realignment, which is always a huge issue and that's what always seems to get people's feathers ruffled the most, when it comes to classifications and things like that. And that's where I think the NCHSAA, and remember, the NCHSAA is not the individuals up there on Finley Golf Course Road in Chapel Hill. It's all the schools, all the administrators, the athletic directors, the board of directors. That they govern themselves. And when it comes to issues like that, that's where the NCHSAA needs to continue to be operating.
All right. And there'll be more time to talk about this. Thank you for coming on and discussing this here. Any as we start the playoffs next week, this is an area where I think people get torqued off. They wanted to eliminate the endowment game. Well, there was a little end around here from the association. We'll eliminate the endowment game, no problem. We'll cut the regular season back a week. But all of a sudden, we've added an extra round to the playoffs. They're going to get their money.
And that is where Chris Hughes has a stance against the NCHSA. I thought that was the most bogus thing I've ever heard. Yes, get rid of the endowment game, but I was of the stance 16 high school games, 17-week season, going from the beginning and really the end of July through mid-December. That is way too long for a high school football kid to be playing football, a contact sport. I mean, colleges, that's 17 weeks. That's an NFL season.
Yeah.
Kids do not need to be playing that long. So that is where I have a firm stance of, that was a bogus rule. I would much rather see 14 or 15 games as in the old days, and keeping 16 I thought was really, really irresponsible.
Well, they wanted their money. Now they don't get it in Moss like they did with the endowment game, but they still get it from – because about everybody's in the playoffs now. So it just – again, I can see this from both sides of the coin. It's not cut and dry with me. I think you and others, like it is with a lot of educators and administrators that speak out on it. Because that I agree with you 1,000% there. You've kept the season long, and you've done it, and you're still getting – there's still money going into their coffers. So what could something be done with the endowment that would appease people? I mean, what or do you have an opinion on that?
I would give it back to the schools more. I mean, I don't know if there's an equitable way to do it, to maybe try to give more to the schools that need it versus the schools that don't need it. There's schools that need it more than others. And you and I both know that. You look at your city schools, your underperforming schools, your underprivileged schools. There are some schools that I think could really get a boost with some of that endowment money. And I would love to see a large majority of it given back to the schools to do whatever. And yes, it should be athletic based. It shouldn't be used necessarily to put lights up on a football field or a softball field for a school.
Right.
But there are probably some monies that they could give opportunities to kids with all those millions of dollars sitting in the bank. So I do think that would be a great use of it.
All right. Again, thanks for taking the time to talk about this. Chris Hughes, founder of Carolina Preps, with us. Some teams to watch, be it from the East or be it from the entire state as we start the playoffs next week.
Well, it depends on which you want to start in the 1A, the 4A. It doesn't matter.
Just a smattering. Just kind of run through, particularly the East. Who are the teams to watch?
Yeah. In the 4A, I'll start up there on the top. There's a big one being played tonight between Cleveland and Clayton. I think that those are two that's kind of been a little bit off the radar for some folks. 9-0 Cleveland, 8-1 Clayton. That's going to be a game that I think could go a long way toward kind of looking at what the Eastern landscape in Big 4A football looks like. I would not give up on a New Bern team. I know that they've had a lot of, ups and downs with the forfeits and just a lot of the stuff. Really not so much pertaining to this year, but I still think that that's a pretty good football team. So I still think that they're going to make some noise. But overall in the 4A, I think that Rolesville is the one team that I think you're going to have to go through Rolesville in Eastern North Carolina. In 3A, I think it's a little bit more wide open, although I think the balance of power in 3A is far and away in the West. You've got, Crest and Kings Mountain who are going to have it tonight. But you still got some teams in Eastern North Carolina in the 3A that are really good, like 71st over there in Fayetteville, Greensboro Dudley. So 3A is a little bit more kind of up in the air. 2A, though, is where I think it's got an strong Eastern North Carolina feel. Obviously, Clinton's one of the toughest teams in the state. I think they could hold their own against a lot of the 3 and 4A teams. You've got a big one going on tonight between Wallace Rose Hill and traditional rival James Keenan. And don't forget about East Duplin. I know that they snapped their 23-game winning streak last week, but I think East Duplin and Coach Battle Holly, I think that's a team that can still make some noise and make it to the deep rounds of the playoffs.
Chris, great to talk to you. Thanks a lot, my friend, and we'll talk to you, I'm sure, at some point here on one of these Fridays as we go through the playoffs.
Always a pleasure, Patrick, and I appreciate you having me on.
Great to talk to Chris Hughes again. Good guy and the best when it comes to just opinion and coverage of high school athletics and high school football in the state. All right, we'll take a timeout. Speaking of high school football, big cross-county game tonight. Couple of them, but we'll spotlight Conley and South Central. And Chris Cherry, legendary basketball coach at South Central, AD for the Falcons, and their football coach this year. We'll talk to him about the matchup tonight and how the season has gone. Coming up next on the Get You to the Weekend Football Friday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show.
2024s are moving in, which means 2023s are moving out. It's the model year-end move-out at Greenville Toyota. Shop new RAV4s, $289 a month. Even save on the all-new Camry, also $289 a month. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, Newbern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
At GoEco, we don't just supply the office space. We create solutions for any environment. Our state-of-the-art commercial-grade video display is perfect for watching film with the team. From film study to the field, elevate your game with GoEco.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
The 2024s are here and the 2023s need to move. It's the model year-end move-out at Greenville Toyota. Move in on new Tacomas just $299 a month. Plus, get the Greenville Advantage at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Sometimes you just don't know if you want to kiss him or slap him.
Ow!
Either way, he'd probably like it. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back. Patrick Johnson here with you, and let's go now to the phone lines where we are joined by South Central football coach, our friend Chris Cherry, AD there, and coach is one of the best championship basketball coach for all of these years, and he is turned around a South Central program. They got off to a really fine start. I found the sledding a little tough here, but they're going to try to come back and finish up things on a high note tonight against Conley at Hollywood Crossroads. Hey, Coach, always great to talk to you. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for taking the time on a game day.
Hey, thanks, Patrick, man. Always good to hear from you.
So give me an idea of, when you made the decision to take over the football program after many years of being a successful and state championship basketball coach.
it was you get to a point. Well, just to go back, we had a couple of my other administrators prior to that had talked to me about possibly taking over at different times when we had openings. And, at that time, those times, I didn't feel like the time was right. I feel like I had so much more to accomplish and to get done here with the basketball program. And then, we got to this last instance, and I felt like, well, the basketball program is on solid ground, been very successful year in and year out. So maybe it's time to give it a shot.
You played football in college, so it wasn't like you were just a basketball guy, right?
That's exactly right. And I actually started out, at my alma mater at Plymouth, working under Coach Robert Cody. I was offensive coordinator for 8 years there, and I came back and coached my first year here with Coach Davis at South Central. Before I just dove into basketball. It was such a at the time it was such a gold mine of a job that nobody knew about, and so I just really felt like I had to dive into that 100%, and just bring the best out of the basketball program, and that's what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, when you it's kind of been said to me before, a good coach, a great coach, could coach any sport. I mean, coaching is coaching in some ways at the end of the day. Yes, it helps to have some knowledge in that field or know the game. But as far as organization and motivation and fire, a lot of that, it does kind of translate over from sport to sport, I would imagine.
Yes, when you get to, football at this level, you got to have a little bit of knowledge of it also, and, the game hasn't changed so much over the years. A lot of teams are not huddling now, but the game is still warm between, from chocolate to chocolate. I mean, you can just, you can handle it any way you want to, but if you can't win from chocolate to chocolate, you're not going to be very successful.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, some kids that have had a good year for you. Tell our listeners about who they are. You got some young talent at some key positions. Yes,
we have Devarius Johnson, a wide receiver. He's had a tremendous year for us at receiver. We had a couple of senior linemen that's had good years for us. Drake Hankins has been really good for us this year also, and our two linebackers have been very, very good for us also. And, we have a young quarterback, a sophomore. He's improving, he missed a month, with an injury, but he's back there. And so, we're glad to have him back. And so, the program, is moving slowly, but we're moving on the upswing. And we just, we got to keep grinding, I told the kids, this is a very unforgiving conference. You take away the mishaps, with New Bern, of course, and the last month, we played teams with a total of 3 losses, and those losses were to each other.
Right. Yeah. Well, they can take away from New Bern what they want to take away, but on the field, that's still a heck of a football team. Yeah,
that's a really good football team.
Yeah. Hey, tonight, Conley. What are your impressions of the Vikings, and what do the Falcons have to do to come away with the victory?
Nate's always done a good job there. Those kids are gonna be sound. They're gonna, they'll be really good schematically. With it being a rival game, that always adds a little bit to it. But we just got to be sound. And like I tell the kids, we just have to eliminate, the self-inflicted wounds. The pre-snap penalties getting you behind the chains. If we can do those things, then I know we'll compete. That's one thing we've done all year. We've competed, and we're going to compete every night.
Chris, I've always been a fan of the work you do with young people. You've done a fantastic job, and I admire you for taking on this challenge because the football program has had some high moments, but it's had a lot of valleys, and I think you're going to get it going in the right direction and have it going in the right direction. So good luck tonight against Conley, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon. It's going to be weird to just be on the sidelines, not on the sidelines, but kind of watching basketball for the Falcons this year instead of instead of coaching it?
I'm sure, I'm sure it'll be an adjustment, but, I'm so happy for, Coach Leland Jones. He's been with me 13 years, and, at some point, they're ready, and, you have to pay it forward, So I thought it was his time, and, if I was going to do it, I was going to do it, keep it within the family, so to say, So I'm just excited for him.
Hey, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck tonight.
Hey, man, thanks, Patrick. Good to hear from you as always, man.
Yeah. Great to have Chris Cherry on. We got such great coaches and administrators. Tell you what, Pilk, why don't we go ahead and do an update? That way we can kind of close things out when we need to send it out to Rose. Is that what we need to do? Tell me what we need to do here, Pilk. I should actually ask you that. Should we
say it's up to you. You want to go 3 segments today or 4? It's up to you.
I would rather go as few segments as possible. Whatever gets me out of here the quickest, Pilk. That's what I'm looking for.
all righty.
Yeah, we got to get calling.
That's true, and those guys need to connect with us. So yeah, let's do an update now. How about it?
Okay, here it is. Take your time. Philip the Ref Pilkington with a 94-3 the game sports flash update and Pirate report. Pilk.
Thanks, Patrick. We will start with Pirate Athletics as the football team, is traveling to UTSA this weekend. Pirate defensive coordinator talked about how the team is all in this together.
Yeah, it's all defense. It's not offense, defense, special teams. We all in this thing together, and we all got to make sure we're all pulling in the same direction and keeping the fight together.
That game can be heard right here on 94.3 The Game at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon, with the network coverage starting at 2:30. And our Busch Light Pirate Game Day Countdown with Patrick Johnson, Terrence Copper, Steve Igo, and Joe Sampson starting at 12:30. Last night, the Pirates soccer team fell to Charlotte 3-1 in the season finale. The two teams will meet again on Tuesday in the first round of the AAC tournament. Tonight, the volleyball team will be at Rice as they try and build on a 6-game win streak. They are on a western part of the conference trip. They will take on Tulsa on Sunday. Come out tomorrow morning to Overton's Lake Christie as the Pirates host the conference cross-country meet at 9:15. The men will run, and at 10 a.m. the women will run. Tonight on 94.3 The Game and Oldies 94.1, you can hear Rose against Havelock from Havelock. The Rose broadcast on 94.3 and the Havelock broadcast on 94.1. Edenton will be on our sister station Talk 103.7 as they travel to Hertford County. Last night, the Canes snapped a 3-game skid as they defeated the Kraken 3-2 in overtime on a goal from Martin Nachos. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. On the other side of this timeout, we'll be back to wrap up the Patrick Johnson Show.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern living's best small town.
Hey, grab me one too.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
R&D Brewing is proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew. Arr.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
All right, getting ready to wrap it up here, final segment. We're going to do a 3-segment shoe today. ACC out with their preseason lineup, preseason prognostication. And let me see here. I'm just getting blown up with all kinds of emails, Pilk. It's nuts. Preseason prognostication has Duke number 1, Miami number 2, the Tar Heels number 3, Virginia 4, and Clemson. How about Clemson number 5? NC State and Wake follow, or actually it's the opposite order. Wake and NC State follow Clemson. The freshman for Carolina was the freshman of the year. He's very slight as a guard, but I guess he's going to help turn the Tar Heel fortunes around and then flip the preseason player of the year for the Duke Blue Devils. I'm ready for basketball season, Pilk. It starts a week from Monday. I know there's some exhibitions and stuff like that. Some of the top secret scrimmages are going on now. But anyway, I'm ready for hoops to start. And an announcement, we'll make it on Monday, but the Inside Pirate Athletics show will be not airing on the 6th. They're going to add it to kind of the end of the season. So no show that evening for the coaches' show, as it were, at Tiebreakers. I think they're going to add it to the back of the season, the basketball or the baseball season. Rundown of the games tonight, final week of high school football, some of the games of interest in the area. Of course, we've got double your excitement, double your fun at the top of the hour here on 94.3 The Game. Rose at Havelock. You can listen to the Rose feed right here. You can listen to the Havelock feed on Oldies 94.1 and 102.7. North Pitt is at Farmville. We just talked to Chris Cherry, South Central at Conley. Washington at Aiden Grifton tonight, so that's got a little rivalry flavor about it. Kinston and North Lenoir in that pillow fight. Northside Pinetown at Pamlico County. Tarboro at Washington County. That probably is a Vikings roadkill there. West Craven at Southwest Edgecombe. And the Parrott Academy against Faith Christian on the road to wrap up the regular season. JP2 season has concluded. They are an independent this year, so no postseason for them, as it were. We of course, will have our coverage tomorrow of East Carolina and Texas San Antonio. Pill, give me a up-to-date line on that for entertainment purposes only, of course. What's happening as far as what's going on with the Pirates? What's going on with UTSA from the Vegas perspective? What do we got, Pilk?
According to what I'm seeing here, it's still 18.5 is the spread, and 47 is the over-under.
So that's the biggest, second biggest number that the Pirates have been up against this year. I think they were bigger dogs at Michigan.
Yeah, it was
a
a full 3 touchdowns at Michigan. It may have even been 22 points. It was at least 3 touchdowns.
And this is 3 touchdowns, but you're talking about extra points and other things with that. So, I mean, this is a 3-touchdown disadvantage. Look, I think Texas San Antonio is very talented. I think the Roadrunners are very experienced. I think a lot of what happened with them at the beginning of the year is that they had such a rash of injuries and their quarterback was not healthy that it's problematic and has been problematic for them as far as getting off to a good start because they had a pretty stout schedule in the pre-conference. Now they're in the league, have reeled off 3 wins in a row, and they've got a whole month and 1 week of the season remaining. And they're very much in the thick of things. So ECU at this point could play a little bit of a spoiler with UTSA and then with Tulane next week because those are some of the teams sitting at the top. So, that's kind of the thing I think. Yeah, it's not the primary motivation, but I think if you're ECU, any win you'll take at this point in football. But just anything to maybe, hey, guys, we could still have an impact on the conference race by having knocking off this team or that team and kind of change their trajectory of the season. And those are things that can motivate at times. We'll be on the air tomorrow, and that'll be coming your way at 12:30 with our Pirate Game Day Countdown. Philip the Ref Pilkington providing updates. Dom Kasulki will be producing. I'll be hosting alongside Terrence Copper and Joey Football, Stephen Igo. Will Igo be in the studio with us, or is Igo still not 100% healthy, Pilk?
Tomorrow is still to be determined. He did not come in earlier today. He did it from his house. So
can we link him up to that from the house and me from the Working Man's Beach and the studio? Can we do that tomorrow, a triple threat like that?
Yeah, I think we can.
All right, get with Michael. Let's make sure we can. I think that'd be the way to go tomorrow then.
I agree. However, Michael's probably asleep by now. I'll text him in the morning. He's asleep. Here it is, almost 7 o'clock.
He's not asleep right now.
I don't know, man.
Right now.
Michael goes to bed pretty early.
Pilkington trying to create the theater of the mind illusion. Just check with Michael, all right?
I know, I will.
Just check with Michael. I'm sure we could get it done. All right. Great week this week. Jay Sunholder, I guess, will be back with us on Monday. We'll talk to him. We'll also have Inside Pirate Athletics from Tiebreakers with Coach Houston and Stephen Igo. Looking forward to that, and yours truly will be there as well. All right, we're winding down the time here on this Patrick Johnson show. We have the high school football season Week 11 finale coming up. It'll be Rose wrapping up the season, taking on Havelock. Tough one for the Rampants. We'll see how it shakes out. And we'll look forward to telling you all about the high school football playoffs next week. Are we going to try to get some stuff on social, Milk, this weekend with who makes the tournament out of Pitt County?
Yeah,
we
can do that.
Put that on your list of a million things to do.
When did they announce that? Sunday?
Yes, no, Saturday, sometime tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometime tomorrow, yes. But Sunday we're doing it with Dom because I'll be hanging out at the Panthers game Sunday. So.
Yeah, it'll be before then. You and Dom will have to take care of that tomorrow. All right, thank you, Pilk. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. And everybody else, you have a great and safe weekend. Get out and enjoy this beautiful weather. And stay tuned. Rose football is straight ahead.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
I'm a big mood. You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. Stacking paper like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into, and I won't break a sweat. Let's get it. 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 Child, please, I don't need a towel.
Are you game day ready? Anson Belt, the official belt of ECU Athletics.
Are you ready for a digital hair color revolution? The Color Master Factory by Chi and LG. A masterpiece of innovation, unlimited color formulations, limitless possibilities, long-lasting color. Chi.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.